All right, so let me give you my predictions of the next fights. So, the big one, Otto Wallin versus Anthony Joshua. So, this could be difficult for AJ since he's a southpaw and he is actually pretty tricky and he's a decent fighter. But I will say this, and he's very confident. Otto Wallin is very, very confident. But AJ has got this super stoic look. Like when they were standing face to face, there wasn't really much smiles. There wasn't any talking. Otto was saying something to AJ and AJ was just staring at him. Just staring at him. And then at the very end, he gave him the nod. It was that kind of nod like, hey, there's no talking. I'm just going to be knocking you out, knocking you to the moon come tomorrow. So it's kind of scary. You don't really see AJ like that very often. The shape that he is in, he's ripped, shredded to the bone. And he came in weighing, 251 on the dot. Either 251 or 252. But shredded, a shredded 252. I weigh 250 and I'm kind of chubby at 250. So for me to be lean, I would be like 225. So AJ is a big boy. Otto Wallin, he weighed, I think, 238. So he was giving up a little bit of weight. It's not that big of a deal. And size-wise, AJ's maybe only like an inch shorter than... I'm sorry, AJ's an inch taller than Otto. So I think that he's not taking this fight lightly. He even said, if it's in God's will for me to win, then I'll win. I've been praying a lot and this and that. And he said he's been putting the work in. So, he's not really being very cocky when it comes to this fight and how he's been speaking about his opponent. But he has fought Otto, I think, in the amateurs twice and beat him. And he's also sparred with him a little bit. So these guys are kind of familiar with each other. Otto makes a good point, which is AJ is gun shy and he's not the same fighter that he was before he lost to Andy Ruiz, which is kind of true. So we'll see if he can turn this around. I'm a big AJ fan, so I'm rolling with AJ. He looks like he's serious. He's in great shape. I'm expecting a knockout. I am not expecting this to go the distance. If it does, I'll be disappointed. I'll be happy if AJ wins, but people are expecting him to knock Otto out, and they're expecting Deontay to knock Parker out. So they got to get those two guys out the way so that they can do this mega fight and finally get it done. The other one that I wanted to point out is Hrgović. Is it Filip Hrgović? He is a monster. He is a big boy and he looks serious. I don't even remember who his opponent's what his opponent's name is, but I'm going with Hrgović anyway because honestly, he's the massive favorite for that fight. And then there's a whole bunch of other fighters like at light heavyweight and cruiserweight that I'm not as interested in because I'm more focused on the heavyweights. But they're good fighters on the card, like across the board. And there's even a few other guys that are kind of like up and coming heavyweights that's on the card as well, that they're just all massive. I mean, you see them stand and you see what they weigh on stage, on the scale. And it's like, these are big boys. They're not just heavyweights, but they're big heavyweights. The smallest heavyweight that was on the stage was actually Deontay Wilder. And even though he's the smallest, got them skinny little legs that are about as big as my arm, we all know he can hit hard. And he's 6'7". So he's the tallest and he hits the hardest, even though he's the lightest. So weight doesn't always equate to, heavyweight power. We know Deontay Wilder has that power. But I got Hrgović winning. The only other thing I want to say is it's a shame that Big Bang Zhilei Zhang is not on this card, because the fact that Hrgović is so good and Zhang really won that Hrgović fight, in my opinion, kind of shows you that Zhang is up there with the top heavyweights and he is going to give a whole bunch of people problems. And if Andy Ruiz doesn't get his fat belly back in shape, then he's not going to be involved in these kind of fights, and he needs to, so he can get the cheddar, so he can get paid. So let me know, who do you think's going to win? Do you think that Hrgović is going to win? And who do you have winning out of AJ and Otto Wallin? Anyway, my next video will be the results video after someone gets knocked out. See you in the next one. Peace.